craziest people in America come from the Bronx and all the Florida.
He lied.
Why does the Sunshine State consistently produce such strange news?
If I catch y'all ass in traffic, I whip her, my virginity out. Y'all gonna say
it is just one of the many wacky news stories out of Florida.
On The Breakfast Club.
Oh, man. And Charlamagne,
Yes.
LSU is in Baton Rouge, by the way.
It is?
Thank you.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what Shreveport at.
Is she the mayor of Shreveport over there? Relax. Looking like a Lego.
Donkey of the day for Monday, August 19th goes to a doctor in Florida named Ishwari Prasad. What does your Uncle Shala always say about the great state of Florida? Say it with me. The craziest people in America come from the Bronx and all of Florida, and today is no exception. Now, I truly believe humans don't care about each other like they used to. Okay, empathy is just a thing of the past, and I believe it's because smartphones and social media have desensitized us to everything, especially people's feelings. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's emotional, physical, spiritual, mental. Humans just don't care about what other humans are feeling or going through. And when you're a doctor, this is simply a trait you can't have, okay? Doctors have to care for people. Doctors have to listen to you. They have to ask you questions. They must show concern for your feelings. They have to explain things in a way that makes sense to you. They must include you in their decision-making. Did I say they must show concern for your feelings? Okay? Because Dr. Prasad did not do that, and that is why we are gathered here today. I need all my brothers of a certain age, 45 and up, to, come around the radio and let's bond together over a procedure many of us have already gotten. If you haven't gotten it, you need to. But that procedure is a colonoscopy. Did your butt tense up when you heard me say that? Huh? If you know what a colonoscopy is, I'm sure those cheeks got tight. But if you don't know what it is, let me tell you, it's just a medical procedure that allows a doctor to examine the inside of the colon and rectum using a flexible tube called a colonoscope. I think I pronounced that right. Probably not. They will put something in your butt, basically. But that something they put in your butt could save your life because you could start getting regular screenings. You should start getting regular screenings for colon cancer at age 45. When'd you get yours, Envy?
45.
45, okay. I think I got mine at like 44. If you're listening to me right now and you say, nah, I'm good.
No, 44 too. Yeah, I got mine.
You got your 44? Yeah, I got mine.
Because you scared me. That's made me think about it.
If you're listening to me right now and you say, nah, I'm good, simply because you don't want anything placed in your brown Fruit Loop, then ask yourself this simple question. Would you rather be gay or dead? Okay, I'll take gay for 500, Alex. Worst thing about the colonoscopy is the prep you have to do the day before. The drugs they give you are incredible. It's the same thing they gave Michael Jackson. Put you to sleep. They go in your balloon knot and make sure everything is good. You don't feel nothing. Slight anal pain when you wake up, but you will be fine, okay? Well, what happens when one is not sedated? Could you even imagine, Envy?
Hell no.
What happens when something is in your butt and you can feel it, but your doctor can't hear you? Well, that is what happened in the case of Dr. Ishwari Prasad. See, according to the Florida Board of Medicine, Dr. Prasad is facing disciplinary action because he couldn't hear the patients yelling in pain because he wasn't hearing a hearing aid. He wasn't wearing his hearing aid. You heard me correctly, okay?
That's crazy.
Unless you two don't have your hearing aid in, you heard me. Dr. Prasad cannot perform colonoscopies for now. He's on probation by the state's Board of Medicine after 2 colonoscopy procedures went wrong under his care. My brothers, hold on to your butts while you hear these stories. Let's go to Fox 13 Tampa for the report, please.
A 9-page complaint from the Florida Department of Health details some disturbing allegations against Dr. Ishwari Prasad, a gastroenterologist in Tampa. According to the report, Prasad was performing colonoscopies on 2 patients and wasn't wearing his hearing aids at the time. As a result, a patient who wasn't fully sedated when the procedure began started yelling, but Prasad couldn't hear him, according to the report. The complaint goes on to say the surgical team couldn't communicate with Prasad either. And finally, the doctor is accused of allowing an unlicensed surgical tech to perform part of the procedures, including inserting the colonoscopy's scope. The Florida Board of Medicine placed Prasad on probation last week. He can no longer conduct solo procedures until he's cleared by a state-approved supervising doctor. In an emailed response, Prasad claimed this was a false report and that he's contesting it with his lawyer.
What you mean it's a false report? I know my butt. Okay, first of all, let's thank God we didn't have to go through this when we got our colonoscopies. Round of applause for amazing doctors that we had, okay? Second of all, this man, Dr. Prasad, improperly delegated the duty of putting a scope where I duty to a surgical tech, all right? The tech had no medical license, but you gave this man permission to insert a scope in my butt, okay? Surgical tech? First of all, surgical tech, you didn't have a license, so what was your intention? If you ask me, I think you was just back there for fun. Certain things you just don't let people do. If you're a pilot, you just don't hand the keys to the plane to an unlicensed pilot assistant and say, here, take off. But that's not the one that's going to make your bunkie hurt, okay? Just thinking about it, all right? The fact The one that's going to really make your bunkie hurt is the fact that Dr. Prasad wears a hearing aid because he is hearing impaired, and he has to wear it to allow him to hear and communicate during procedures, where Prasad was not wearing the hearing aid for at least one, if not both of the procedures detailed in the complaint. And this one was terrible because the patient wasn't fully sedated. Okay? According to the complaint, Prasad began inserting the scope prematurely, causing the patient to begin yelling. And the doctor did not immediately stop the procedure when it was apparent the patient was not fully sedated, and he failed to realize it because he couldn't hear the yells. The poor patient wasn't fully sedated because of a problem with the IV line. Okay, so according to the Miami Herald, Dr. Prasad continued to insert the scope despite being told to wait, and began to thrust the scope into the patient's chocolate starfish while the patient shouted in pain. The patient was yelling and shouting that he was in pain and could still feel everything, and the doctor just kept on moving the scope inside his stink wrinkle while the patient was screaming in pain. You want to know what makes the story worse? There was a hospital administrator in the room who told Dr. Prasad he needed to wait, to which Dr. Prasad leaned over the patient and shouted, "I know." What type of masochist are you? You know how when you're not listening because you don't care to listen? In this case, Dr. Prasad really didn't care to listen because he didn't even put his hearing aid in. So you just shake your head, yeah, sure, I know, and you don't know a damn thing? That was Dr. Prasad in this situation. This man, Dr. Prasad, is out here pickpocketing people's prison wallets, man. Okay, this man been put on probation, and he will not be able to perform any procedures on his own until he is either evaluated for competency or performs 10 gastroenterology procedures. I know I messed that word up, but you know what I'm saying here. Okay, he has to perform 10 of those procedures under the supervision of a physician who will then make a recommendation to the probation committee. I think he should have his license taken away. There is some jobs where there is no room for error, okay? When you back there sticking scopes in my peanut butter tarantula, you should not be allowed to make a mistake. Medical malpractice is completely unacceptable, okay? One of the main things a doctor is supposed to do is listen to you. That's how they fix what's wrong. So if he's not listening, if he can't hear, if he doesn't even care enough to put his hearing aid on, then he's got to go. Please give Dr. Ishwari Prasad the biggest hee-haw.
How you forget your hearing aid? I know old people forget their teeth sometimes. But the hearing aid?
That poor man.
But
that's what you care about? That poor man was screaming.
But
that poor man was in pain. That's what we here to talk about. It'd be butts.
But pause. Pause.
You can't pause but. You need it in your sentence. Go ahead, but.
Pause.
But
there's usually, I know about my procedure and your
got
procedure.
A lot of butts in there.
There was 2 men, pause, because I know how they're going to cut this up. There was 2 men, pause, in the butt.
So, I had no 2 in me now. I had 1 man back there. It wasn't no 2 in my butt.
It had to be an assistant as well.
No, him
yeah, but it wasn't tag team back again. That was not happening. What the hell are you talking about?
No, but if I'm screaming like that, the assistant ain't gonna help me.
After I laugh, I gotta tell the doctor stop. Cause I'm going to laugh at first. I know me.
That's what I'm saying, right? If you assistant, you scream,
I know. That first scream, I'm laughing. I already know I'm getting my chuckle out. After I stop laughing, Doc, what you doing, Doc?
Doc, chill out, Doc.
You wildin', bro.
Doc,
He's not going to hear y'all.
I'm going to have to stop him.
You're going to have to.
The guy is yelling.
You're going to need some more physical contact.
Butt.
You need to tap him.
You got to get in between the scope and the butt.
Yeah, you got to take that out the butt.
Yeah, you got to join in on the fun.
Listen, I'm telling you, man, they said this man was screaming in pain, man.
I couldn't imagine, man.
Man prematurely put the scope in, man. The man wasn't sedated all the way, man.
Because when you get it, you're on your side.
They
probably was on the other side, and he just screaming.
Man.
Prematurely from the side is crazy.
You know what I'm saying? This dude ain't no bottom. Ain't no bottomless bunkie.
Jesus Christ.
Ain't nothing going back there, and you do it without telling me.
Well,
I'm not fully sedated.
Send some healing energy to that man's butt, man.
Ain't no healing fixing that. That man gonna feel that for the rest of his life. Okay, the man probably hit me on the radio this morning telling the story, and his butthole is begging for pain.
All right.
Begging, screaming.
All right.
I don't like the way you said begging. It was just so rough.
All right. Where you want to go this morning?
What you mean where I want to go?
Never mind.
You trying to go get another one?
No, I was just saying. I just wonder how many men have been through that. But let's do that another day.
Oh, if you needed some comfort.
No, that hasn't happened to me. I was knocked out. I was sleeping good.
Keep going.
I'm not going no more.
Donkey of the Day is sponsored by renowned personal injury attorney Michael the Bull Lamonsoff. Don't be a donkey when you need a fighter on your side. If you're ever injured, go to michaelthebull.com. That's michaelthebull.com. And when you mess with the bull, you get the horns.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.